off, it being Mother's Day, I thought I'd bring in a couple of special guests from the club in our women's division. So we've got a young girl that's played at the club for 17 years, all right, and we've got a mother who has been at the club since the start of it. With her son, came over from Margate when they merged into Peninsula Power, and they started back in 2000. So they're I'll bring them in without further ado. Yep. All right, so on my far right, I got Trisha Belford. Okay, so Trisha's been with the club. Trisha's been with the club since its inception. She's managed, played, and I don't think you've coached.
I haven't coached.
No, she hasn't coached, but her husband coached Abby when she was a junior. But Trisha's been with the club since 2000. 2017, I believe you got made a life member.
2017,
yep.
Yes, life member.
So her and her husband got made life members in 2017, which was a great honour and well deserved from the club being, from the inception of the club. Again, she's been managing the top team and the reserves as well as in the same year in a few years. So she's been managing at the club since 2011, right, and played City League, as we said. She's part of the Wobbly Bums, if any of the mums know the Wobbly Bums. So they're a City League team made up of all older and, let's not say older, more mature mums than soccer mums that are in the club. So they've, that's been around for a while. They go to Masters games, Pan Packs, and great supporters of the club as well. They're all the Wobbly Bums are excellent supporters of the club. Right? Yeah, and helpers as well. They're massive helpers within the club, and we couldn't do that without those ladies involved in the club. Abby has been with the club her whole life. She's never played at any other club, so the club is basically alive. Most of the people that get down to the top teams would know Abby, or at least hear Abby around. She's a big supporter of the men's teams, gets down to all the men's games and watches, as well as plays in the women's team as well. She's a starter in the women's team most of the time, and played all her junior career at Peninsula Power. As we said, 17 years, which is a long time to play for one club. And she's only 23, so she's got a few years left in her yet. What we'll do is we'll get to some questions. Yes, and she'll move into the Wobbly Bums eventually. She has played mother and daughter match too. I did watch that, and it wasn't very pretty, but so we'll get to some questions with Abby first, and I'm going to be out of picture here a little bit. All right. So firstly, Abby, your junior career, you played most of your juniors in men, mixed, or in girls?
I would have to say mixed, and then how old was I when I started playing?
So you started playing when you were 6?
Yeah, 6, and then so from 6 up until I was 11, I was playing mixed, and then from when I was 11 onwards, I've been playing women's. So
girls football.
Yeah.
So for those girls that are tuned in, again, she didn't go away to play MPL. She didn't leave the club to play that, which is a good pathway as well. Don't get me wrong, but she's a club junior. She stayed at the club, played women's football all the way through, and now playing for our senior women's team. So there is pathways within the club for our girls as well. They don't have to go away if they don't want. They can play right through, the junior setup and go into women's football. We're looking at a few different pathways for our girls now. We're looking at playing the girls in the boys' community divisions as well, if they don't want to go across to NPL, because again, we've got players within the club that are club born and bred, and they don't want to travel 45-50 minutes 3 nights a week to play NPL, because that's the nearest NPL team. So we are looking for other pathways now to keep our girls within the club structure and moving forward. So from juniors, you went on to play senior football. What age did you debut at senior football?
So I was I was 17. So then it was obviously first in reserve. So I started off in reserves, and then 17 when I started playing senior football, and I was 17 when I made my debut in the first team as well. So
that was BWPL.
It was Diamonds and Sapphires.
Yeah.
It was Diamonds and Sapphires. So Football Brisbane have changed the name of it
about 6 times.
A couple of times. So when I started playing seniors, it was Diamonds and Sapphires, and then it changed back to BWPL First and Reserves. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And we had NPL at the club for a little while, and you were part of the NPL setup there for a couple of years.
I was, yeah. So the first year that I was NPL, I was in under 20s, which was, I felt that was good for me at the time because I was still obviously quite young and learning a lot more. And then the next year I was the first, I guess you could say the first team, and I was captain of that team. So that was an honour to have that. So yeah.
Excellent. Positions. So, okay. So just for a background on you, for you guys as well, Abby is my goddaughter, but I didn't teach her to play football, so don't hold that against me. She won't let me coach her. That's not too hard. But I have offered plenty of times. I have offered. But she is my goddaughter, as well as her father is my best friend, my groomsman, and obviously I'm quite close with the family as well. So I did watch Abby growing up a lot, and seen her play a lot of football. So she played a lot of positions, and we say that to all our players that you don't know where you're going to end up. Defenders now could be strikers in the future, and vice versa. So firstly, played a lot of positions. What positions did you play?
So as a young player, I was a striker. And then, so I think that was probably a lot of my junior years. I played striker. And then when I started in girls or the women's division, I was out on the wing. And then when I started playing senior football, I was a fullback. And then, so that was when I was NPL, I was a fullback. And then when I moved back over to BWPL, I was on the wing for a bit. But now I'm currently playing fullback again. So yeah, I've played a few positions over my time.
So you're never stuck in one position, and you've got to be adaptable.
Not.
And that's what we say. If a coach sees something completely different than what another coach sees, then he might put you in a completely different position. So something like that, make sure you're adaptable. And we say that to all our young players, is that a lot of them crack it when they get put in a position that they don't like, but you've got to be able to play that position because the next coach might want you playing there. So you've got to learn that position. So again, positions are important, but you've got to be adaptable to play different positions as well. You're training in lockdown now. I know you haven't been doing a lot in lockdown, but you have been doing something, and I do say that they've probably given you some sort of plan to work towards. What sort of plan are they giving you?
So for me currently, I've just been doing a lot of walking and a bit of running in that, and then in the backyard just out with my dad, just kicking the ball around, just still making sure I've maintained my touch during the lockdown period. But so I think next weekend with, as you guys all know, restrictions dropping, we have a little, what would you, triathlon type thing. So we're in a group of 10, so we've got a run, a swim cycle. And a cycle. So it'll be interesting to see how we go with that. But I think that's just our first step back into it, and then hopefully soon we can get back into some ball training stuff.
Yeah, we've probably got a minimum of 6 weeks before we actually go back to playing any constructive games, and that'll all hinge on what happens in the next 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, and then they'll start lifting some more restrictions and opening things up. So fingers crossed we can get back into some sort of normality in 5 or 6 weeks. Oh, okay, that's about all the questions I've got. If anybody's got any questions for the ladies, shoot me something through. Nicole's on the computer there, so she'll fill us in if there's any questions. If there's anything that comes through, I can ask the girls and they can answer some questions for you guys as well. All right. Jordan Wells, and Jordan knows Abby quite well, and they're really good friends. Jordan's asked Abby how many golden boots has Abby won, and I'll just fill you in on that because Jordan won the Golden Boot last year with 6 goals. Yeah, that's right, 6. I didn't say 60, I said 6. And 4, I think 3 of them were penalties. So he scored 4 of them were dead balls. So he scored 2 from open play and 1 Golden Boot. Jordan, come on. How many Golden Boots, Ab?
Unfortunately, none. But I mean, I think I scored the same amount of goals that Jordan scored.
No Golden Boots for Abby, but I think she's right. She's probably scored about the same amount of goals as Jordan.
And mine haven't been from penalties, so they've been mid-play.
And you've got, which position is your favourite, and how do you overcome the challenges of playing in different positions?
Ooh.
I did. Sorry about that too, guys. That favourite position. Someone's asked Abby, what's her favourite position and how do you overcome the difficulty in playing in multiple positions? I was going to ask Abby her favourite position. I forgot all about that. So well done, guys, picking that one up. Abby, favourite position?
My favourite, I would have to say, is probably I'd enjoy playing out on the wing. Yeah, the wing's probably my favourite position. But I don't mind playing fullback because I feel like they're sort of the same position in a way, because I like being able to go down the line and then whip it in for the strikers to obviously score. Overcoming it, I don't really know. Like I said, I feel like the way that my coach wants me to play is that he does want me to get the ball and take it down the line and stuff like that. So I feel like that's... Yeah, I don't really know.
You watch a lot of football.
I do watch a lot of football. So like Paul said, I'm normally down at the men's game.
She's an Arsenal supporter.
That probably helps you overcome it.
Yeah, so I do watch a lot of football. So I pick up on a lot of things. And
Trust your coach.
yeah, and my coach wouldn't put me in a position if he didn't think I could do it. So yeah.
So there was a key point made in there that it's what the coach wanted, and the coach has seen something in her that he thinks could be good for the team. So again, it's overcoming playing multiple positions. It's not easy. I've played lots of positions. I play on the wing now, and I never played on the wing in my life. So it's about adapting to where you fit into the team. And again, overcoming multiple positions is never easy when you're playing at the back, up the front. But again, you'll eventually find somewhere which is comfortable for you. But as for in development phase, which most of the players are in, 16s, 18s, that starts to get a little bit different. We start to really shoehole players into positions. But as you're going up through your junior ranks, then you may play multiple positions. Not far, as Abby said, right back and right wing are very, very similar. You are pushing on, you are still attacking from the back, and so they're not that much different. And that's what we try to do. We would never play a right back as a 9 or a centre back or as a key midfield role. If they're a runner and we're going to play them wide, if they can run, then they're generally not going to probably fit into what you want to do in the midfield. So when we do play players in multiple positions, generally pretty close to what they normally play or where they're most comfortable. So in the younger age groups, we like to trial and test players. We like to play players at the front and the back. They need to know how to play all positions. As we said, they need to be adaptable. So from Abby's point of view, her favourite position's right back right wing, but she likes to play right back as well. So she's got a couple of positions there that she can play. Nick?
For Trish, how much has the club changed since she started?
Oh yeah. So we've had a question from Nick.
It's back up in the
Okay. We've had a question just asking Trish how much has the club changed since 2020. From 2000 to 2020. And I'll let Trish talk about
The club has grown a lot, and I was only just saying to Paul earlier that some of the things that he's doing now that has really developed a lot since when Abby first started with the skills training. That's amazing what we're doing now versus what we had previously been doing back in 2000 when Abby first started playing. But apart from that, the club, apart from growing, I think the club has still got that family feel. I don't think it'll ever lose that. That's part of the reason why we're still there.
And we say, once a power player, always a power player. If you've played at power, you never forget it, and you don't. It is like a big family. And we had that shout out to Samara, who's played all the juniors at the club and is now moving to Sydney for Dad's work. And they'll always be a power player. They'll always be in our hearts. And we had a couple leave us last year as well. Finlay, the Coles, they were with us from a young age as well, and they've moved to Sydney as well. He's down in an academy in Sydney now, so they've but they'll always be with us as well. So nothing else, Nick?
Liam Myers has asked, who's your favourite club player?
You, Liam. You're my favourite club player.
Liam Myers has asked who's her favourite club player, and that I take it as she's over everybody, I suppose. Don't know whether he meant top team or so.
Do I actually have to answer that question?
Yeah, go on. Answer.
Liam.
Oh, yeah, Liam. He's my favourite club player.
Suck.
That's all I can see here.
That's it. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in tonight.